I was speaking with Jay Flores. I guess he saw my live stream on Menchito, and he said, don't forget, Menchito had a deal on the table. The deal was already ready to go, and he didn't take the deal. And I said, I wonder what that was about. And I feel like every time we've been asking those questions lately, the answer just pops up right behind it. This is what they have to say on that. Menchito had rejected deal to cooperate against his mother, Rosalinda González Valencia. Woo! Once you got to testify against your mama, shit is fucked up. She raised you wrong if you got to a point where you got to testify against your mama, boy. You know what I mean? Like, what? But if there's any reason to not take a plea, sound like that might be the reason, huh? You know what I mean? That would be the reason. I'd take that one. You know, you're not going to put my mama away. Now, I haven't looked far enough into the Rayful Edmonds story, but I hear a lot of people say that in the comments, that he put his mama in jail and this, that, and the other, and I thought it was the other way around. Maybe one day soon we'll cover that story. Rest in peace to him. But if there's a reason to take life in prison, it's probably to get your mom out. But as we said about his father, y'all led him to that place. Y'all led y'all son to life in prison. I mean, as far as parents goes, I think que lo cagaron.
Yo vivo tranquila con los pelos.
Lo cagaron. All right? El Menchito refused to betray his mother to reduce his sentence in the U.S., revealed journalist Angel Hernandez. The journalist interviewed one of Rubén Oseguera González's lawyers and told him what the prosecutor's office was asking for. And Menchito was sentenced to life in prison last week after refusing to cooperate with U.S. Attorney's Office. Initially, a plea deal was said to be in the works until Rubén abruptly announced a change in defense lawyers and a withdrawal of a plea. Initially, a plea deal was said to be in the works until Rubén abruptly announced a change in defense lawyers and withdrawal of a plea. So he took that shit off the table quick. Back to a life sentence. He went to trial and was convicted and sentenced to life in prison plus 30 years. So listen, I want you to do your whole life in this prison, all right? And when you're done, I want you to start on this 30 years, motherfucker. He went to trial and was convicted and sentenced to life in prison plus 30 years. The exact reason for not taking the deal, unlike other kin of high-level traffickers extradited to the U.S., was not known until now. Again, this question was just brought up the other day. According to journalist Angel Hernandez, who interviewed lawyers Anthony Colombo and Jan Ronis, the son of El Mencho, did not even have to think about it and immediately rejected the government's proposals. His attorneys confirmed that the United States government offered their client a lesser sentence in exchange for revealing information against his mother, Rosalinda González Valencia, who was recently released from a prison in Mexico the same day as the mass expulsion of 29 drug cartel figures to the U.S. Attorney Anthony Colombo, grandson of infamous LCN mobster Joe Colombo, stated that the offer was within standard practice in the U.S. judicial system. In most high-profile criminal prosecutions in U.S. federal courts, cooperation is offered to those accused of crimes. Such an offer was made to Mr. Oseguera, but it was conditioned on his first agreement to cooperate against his mother. Dirty, rotten motherfuckers, boy. God damn. I'm in your bubble, motherfucker. No mama's with
No mommy's weak.
That shit's crazy. Hey, man, we'll give you a deal, man. You could do a little bit less than life in prison, but you got to turn your mama in, bro. You know what I'm saying? Your mama's a crook, too, bro. You know, you got to turn your mama in. If you're going to snitch, you're going to have to go all the way. We got to get your mama. Like, ask the boy for his daddy. You asking him for the wrong motherfucker, man. Prosecutors have promised to request a lesser sentence as long as he collaborated with information that could allow the authorities to put together a file against his mother, Rosalinda González Valencia, and thereby request her extradition, since at that time, El Mencho's wife was at risk of being released from custody in Mexico. She was sentenced to 5 years in prison in Mexico for money laundering and was released this past month after serving 2/3 of her sentence. After Oseguera refused to cooperate with the government, negotiations stalled. The defense attorneys recommended he accept the charges as is. Then on April 6, 2023, he signed an agreement acknowledging the crimes he was accused of. But the day before formalizing this agreement, El Menchito decided to go to trial. He said, fuck you. My mama? Y'all want me to testify against my mama? Listen, bro, I ain't going. He understood the situation he was in, and he requested that we fight for his best interests, and we pursued that. In terms of his representation, the difficulty never came from our client. The difficulty came from some of the facts presented to us during the case and prior to his representation, Colombo noted. Rosalinda, El Mencho's wife, is now free in Mexico, having been released on February 27, 2025, the same day that saw many other Mexican traffickers sent to the U.S. Their son is currently being held at the Federal Detention Center in Philadelphia, preparing to be transferred once all appeals have been lost to serve his life sentence. Shit.
No mommy's wait.
That's parenting 101 and being a son 101. Don't snitch on your mama, but don't lead your kids right into a life sentence. Let's try that one, all right? You know what I mean? He's lucky to be in the USA and not a Salvador jail. Menchito? Yeah, he sure is. The worst thing that they're afraid of is a soft-ass American prison, though, right? Because they don't want to be in that other one either. They don't want to be in none of these prisons. Yeah, so there it is, man. They wanted Menchito to testify against his mama. He said, nah, deal's off the table. Give me life. I'll take that life sentence. I'm not going to rat my mama out. And now his mama's out of prison, and he's going in. All right? Better than the upper room. He could have had those kind of fucking problems. Getting life is wild and crazy at any age, definitely. But, you know, his father was his recruiter, though. His father recruited him when he was 14 years old. So they had to expect this or him getting smoked.
Your services are no longer needed in the community.
You know what I'm saying? Them the two choices they had for baby boy. You know what I mean? They didn't have much past that. But he decided he wasn't going to rat out. He wasn't going to rat out his mama. Menchito's doing life in prison.